Ladies and gentlemen, tonight it is time for another edition of a NASCAR Chase for the Cup, or a NASCAR 06 Total Team Control race today, and our Do It For Dale Series race. Just 6 races to go in what has been an already exciting Busch Series season. Trying to get Dale Earnhardt Jr. his 3rd career NASCAR Busch Series championship. He comes in 2nd place in points, 159 back of points leader Clint Bowyer, who has dominated the season on consistency and has 8 wins to show for as well. We'll see who's going to qualify better between the 2 and the 81 here in a matter of moments. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we head into tonight's action as well. The Kansas Speedway for the running of the United Way 300 live on KRC. Again, as mentioned, 6 races to go. Well, we're going to have 4 in less than 48 hours because we have back-to-back nights of Busch Series action tonight. Obviously, Kansas. Tomorrow night, same starting time. We'll head to Charlotte. Both races, 200 laps, 300 miles. And I think this race is going to be even more unpredictable than the Cup Series race yesterday, which was a thriller for the most part. Definitely started off hot, pretty much carried through 2/3 of the race. We saw some of the best mile-and-a-half racing action on this game so far at Kansas, and I think we're going to see a lot of great racing again today. And then right when it slowed up, we had a caution that bunched everything back together, a couple of them, in fact, in the final 18 laps of the race, which made it a little more difficult for Dale Jr. to try and hang on to win that race, in which he led 153 laps. Can he go for the Kansas sweep today and try to close into the Busch Series standings just like he did in the Cup Series last night with the Max Points Day as well? We'll just have to wait and see. Noah Hall, Size, Billy Kramer, Toxic Punk, Young Boy, Wade Zielinski, Outsider, Ford EcoBoost, Cup Series, and others. Welcome into the stream. Getting ready for qualifying here today. Dale Jr. needs to set the quick time. Based off of practice, the car felt a little edgier than what I had in the Cup Series car yesterday. So this is going to be interesting. This is the first time we have taken a Busch Series car at Kansas this season. So trying to hit on the setup has been a little bit difficult so far through practice this afternoon. And we'll see if Dale Jr. has what it takes to set the pole time. Minor adjustments from the end of practice, trying to add a little bit more downforce to the car, which is going to slow it up, but he's going to need the handling to make it through yet another 100% race this season. Busch Series has been probably a little more unpredictable than even the Cup side, although the last 3 Cup races have been fairly unpredictable since we have gotten into the chase. Season-long points format for the Busch and the Truck Series, though. Junior qualified 3rd in the Cup Series race yesterday and still was able to lead 153 of the 267 laps. He's going a bit wide through 3 and 4 on lap 1. He's going to go all the way down to the apron, taking the shortcut. 5th on lap 1 with a 31.431. He had a 31.31 in practice, so he's going to have to pick up a little over a 10th to get his practice time. That's the problem. He probably should have just had the edgier setup in for qualifying, and then for the race went back with this setup. I think this is going to be a little better for the race trim, but it is not trimmed out for qualifying at all. And I don't think Dale Jr. is going to do as good as what he did in the Cup race yesterday for qualifying purposes. He picked it up just a hair, but not that much. Still 5th for Dale Earnhardt Jr. for qualifying today at Kansas. Martin Truex Jr. is going to start on the pole. That's Dale Jr.'s teammate. And Clint Bowyer will be starting on the outside of the front row in the 2nd place position. Corey Freet, thanks for tuning in also. Let's get this race underway. Dale Jr. has won the last 2 Busch Series races coming into today's race. Can he get 3 in a row? Green flag is in the air and we're underway at Kansas for the 2nd straight day of action with these Gen 4 cars at this track. And already 3 wide off the start as Dale Jr. on the bottom didn't take off very well and ended up actually losing a couple positions. And Martin Truex Jr. is going to be able to lead lap 1 at the front of the field. Clint Bowyer lost a spot to 3rd and is in danger of losing another spot. 1 car in the wall off the exit of turn 4. That was Shane Mills. They were 3 wide behind. And the pole sitter, Martin Truex Jr., will lead lap 1. It is mainly a 2-horse race for the championship right now. Everybody else is more than 2 race worth of points back from 3rd on back in the standings. you still never know with 6 races to go what could happen. Boyer still falling back off the start. Kenny Wallace gets around him now through 3 and 4, and now Aaron Crocker in the 6 nearly got to the inside of the 2, but not quite. Bobby Labonte in the 19 car fighting, and caution is out off turn 4 on lap 2, our first yellow already. That did not take long. And they were 3 wide. Oh, Carl Edwards caught up in it. Multi-car accident as Edwards slides into the infield grass on the front stretch. 3 wide, he got up into the 106. There was another car that was directly to the outside of him, and I think it was the 117 he had squeezed into the wall. But Carl Edwards definitely got the worst of it, so caution is out already just 2 laps into this race. That might be a precursor for what could potentially happen. We only had 5 cautions in the entire Cup race or 4 cautions in the entire Cup race last night. We had 2 in the first 50 laps, and we had 2 in the last 18. And we had over a 200-lap green flag run in the middle. Green flag back in the air again. Dale Jr. didn't take off the initial start. He's going to try to do a little bit better of a blocking job on the restart as he doesn't take off that well again. Holds on to his position, at least at first, with Bobby Labonte lurking to the outside. And gets the drive off turn 2 to stay in front of the 19 car. So he didn't lose any spots that time at the single file restart compared to the double file start. It does seem like Dale Jr.'s car is a little bit too tight, though, right now, at least in traffic. We'll see if he can get that track position. It will be a little bit better a little later on. That skosh more of downforce he added might have hurt his car a bit in the dirty air, and not qualifying on the pole costed him. Martin Truex going to win? Perhaps. I believe he does have 1 win this season. Actually, you know what? I don't think he has won a Busch Series race. I could be wrong on that. Carl Edwards picking up a spot on the restart, moving back up to 4th place. Kyle Busch in 2nd. Like Bobby Labonte lost a spot on the restart as well, so he's back to 9th. Labonte inside the top 10 in points. Got a few Cup regulars inside the top 10 still. Dale Jr., Martin Truex Jr., and Bobby Labonte yet on the top 7 in the standings. Jr. the best shot to win the championship, but it's a Busch Series regular. Clint Boyer leading the way right now. As Jr. gets closer to these cars in front of him, it's going to be a lot harder to get the car to turn. Clip the white line in the middle of turns 3 and 4 that time and cause the car to wiggle up the track just a bit in the middle of the corner. That was all driver error that time. He actually had a few cars in front of him go to that middle groove, which allowed him to turn the car a little bit better on entry. Daniel Brooks, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for the $1 super chat. Greatly appreciate that. And meanwhile, Kyle Busch gonna lose 2nd that last lap, and he's in danger of losing 3rd. And Dale Jr. clipped the apron. He's got to be careful with that. Getting too aggressive. Front stretch, it's one thing. In the tri-oval, maybe try to take a shortcut, but I would be wanting to do that in the corner. Anything could happen in a full race. That is exactly true. Boyer's up to 3rd. Aaron Crocker's on the move. She'll also get around Kyle Busch. She restarted in 6th, and now she gets by Boyer and Busch through 3 and 4. Great corner by Crocker. Dale Jr. going down to the apron through the tri-oval to try to get to the inside of J.J. Yaley. Had a massive run off turn 4. Arcs it off into 1 and 2. Yaley really shut the door on Dale Earnhardt Jr. though that time, and Jr. couldn't get underneath him. Yaley on the inside of Kyle Busch. Dale Jr. looking really low. Yaley tries to throw a block. He nearly turns the 81 car, who gets slammed and turned on the back straightaway by Tony Stewart. And caution's out for the 2nd time today. Jr. just got wrecked basically by that bad block by J.J. Yaley off the exit of turn 2. And that sent the 81 sideways, and then he overcorrected back into the wall in front of Tony Stewart, who ran into the back of him and then turned him into the infield grass. That is not good for one of the championship contenders in the opening laps of the race. And that was definitely not his fault, but he's got quite a bit of damage to the back of the race car because Stewart hit him pretty hard. Everybody else is going to stay out, and this is going to send Dale Jr. to the back, unfortunately. Almost 4 seconds worth of damage to the back bumper of that 81 Menard Chevrolet. NASCAR Cup Series 2311 Racing, thanks for tuning in as well. This is just not a good start for Dale Jr. He was just running comfortably and Tried to go 3 wide off the exit of turn 2, and Yaley moved down right on top of him. Junior was already there, and it knocked him out of shape. KG, thanks for tuning in. That is a problematic start for Dale Jr. with just 6 races to go, and already 1 race worth of points out of first. All that track position lost after qualifying in 5th and running pretty much 7th the entire race so far. Green flag back in the air, and knowing that the Busch Series has had seemingly a lot more cautions on a regular basis than the Truck and the Cup Series, this is not where you want to be in the middle to the back of the pack right now for this restart. That might loosen the car up a little bit more with the damage to the back bumper, but obviously you don't want to lose all that track position loosening the car up. I mean, there is nothing to blame there for Dale Jr. That was all started from J.J. Yaley. Jerry Fasnat, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, we still have a long race to go. I mean, we're only 15 laps in, but defeats the purpose of qualifying at this point. 3 wide in turns 1 and 2 up ahead already. We saw a wreck 3 wide off turn 4 earlier. Just got to hope everybody can make it off the exit of the corner. Looks like they will. No stack-ups up ahead. Truex has still led every lap so far from the pole. Hanging on to the track position. 3 wide off the exit of turn 4, just up ahead. And they'll make it that time. Couple different areas where you can see some 3 wide racing going on as restarts are getting chaotic in the early going of today's race. Dale Jr. trying to make his first pass at the back of the pack on the 116 car. Will blow around him at the rear of the field. First pass he's made today. I don't know if Dale Jr.'s got a race-winning car, though, to be completely honest. I don't think this Busch Series car seems as fast as his Cup car did yesterday in comparison to the rest of the field. He's definitely got a top 10 car. He's running comfortably in 7th, and he's trying to make a 3-wide move because Yaley and I think it was Kenny Wallace were the cars in front of him, and they were holding each other up when they were side by side off the exit of turn 2. And Junior's got double wide lap traffic right in front of him, and that caused the car to get a bit tight in the middle of the corner. Definitely could have been worse damage. I think he's lucky Stewart kind of hooked him in the left rear more than he just slammed into the back of him, because that probably would have been a little worse off. One car brushes the wall off turn 4 up ahead, stacking the outside up. Junior didn't lift, and he ended up giving the car in front of him a little bump draft. Slide job through 1 and 2. That did not work. Just stuffed the car in the wall. Going back down to protect his position and quickly get back to the inside. But he wasn't able to do that. The 117's going to outmaneuver him. First time Junior's had to run the outside in the middle of the corner. Hangs on to it. Try to get back down to the bottom again. Finds a hole, gets there. Hopefully he can cross the 117 car back over into 1 and 2, and it looks like he will. I'm trying to, at least. Still side by side with him. Dale Jr.'s off a 3-day bender. My goodness. This 81 car's not good in traffic. It is very tight center off. It rolls into the corner fine, but center off, it is problematic when he's in the wake of dirty air. This time it's going to be a little better. So the 106 just moved down right in front of him in the middle of the corner. So he got a good turn off, and now the 106 car is blocking Earnhardt all over the back straightaway. Junior knows he's way faster than the cars at the back of the pack. He's going to have to find a way to get back through this field. It's probably going to be anywhere between a 2 to a 3-stop race today. We saw 4 stops in the Cup race, and this race is only 67 laps shorter than the Cup race. Dale Jr. down low, looking for more space into turns 1 and 2 side by side as he was squeezed on corner entry, but he's going to hold his line and clear. Jamie McMurray at the back of the pack right now. He's the next car in the 64, just up ahead of Dale Jr. The Cup Series regulars back here. Of course, Edwards wrecked mid-pack already, too. McMurray making a pass for position through turns 3 and 4 on one of the fantasy drivers. Mark Demars, thanks for tuning in. 9-wide racing. Oh, you were talking about 8-wide racing recently. Well, we've seen a lot of 3-wide racing going on. They're 3-wide again off turn 2 up ahead. Kept it off the wall that time. McMurray gets crossed over. Dale Jr. trying to take advantage of it. Just underneath McMurray into turn 3, but he is getting forced down there and he had to lift. He knew he was going to clip that white line, so he lifted before he clipped it, so that way he wasn't going to lose control of his car. Smart move by Jr. He had the positioning under McMurray, but McMurray really chopped the nose off of the 81 car there. Gave him no chance to stay underneath him unless he wanted to run into the side of McMurray and risk wrecking both of them. You saw in the backstretch, it didn't take much contact to knock a car sideways. We didn't see much contact from Dale Jr. in the Cup race yesterday, so... McMurray in the wall off turn 4 as Jr. gets around him. Everybody's getting tight when they have cars in front of them. Does seem like this 81 car is pretty fast on the straightaways, though. Even if he doesn't get off the corner perfectly. Will stack up on the bottom lane. Jr. got to run up on the outside. Squeezes his way into the middle. 3 wide. What a move by Dale Jr. and quickly gets back down to the bottom. And the car on the outside of Jr. gets in the wall again. 3 wide just up ahead. Luckily, none of those guys got in the wall. And they're back down to double file by the time they're going to get into turn 1. Dale Jr. is just slicing and dicing through this field. He's got nothing to lose. He's 159 points out of first. Needs to hope and pray that... That's another car that was not clear with a block on Dale Jr. Jr. drives it in deep. A little too deep. Slides up the racetrack a bit. That's 2 cars now that made contact with Dale Jr. on the backstretch trying to throw a block when they were not clear. Luckily that time didn't cause an accident. Jr. making a pass for 33rd. Methodically trying to get his way through the field. Big run on the back straightaway for the 81 of Earnhardt into turn 3. 3 wide, bottom of the racetrack. Hooks the white line. Got them both for 31st. Couple cars widening up the track just a bit. Oh, contact! Everybody hangs on. Junior doesn't want to cause another wreck. The first 2 cautions were early enough in the run, nobody pitted, but if we get one now that we're about midway through the fuel and tire stint, we're probably going to see cars pit, but if Junior causes it, he can't pit for fuel or tires. He gained track position, but he's not going to have the grip everybody else is going to have, and he's probably going to be slower, so he needs to stay out of trouble here making these passes, even though he's going aggressive, because he's in a points situation here. He needs to try to lead as many laps as he possibly can, and he's got to fight for every lap, all 200. And hope, of course, that Clint Boyer doesn't lead any laps also. All 43 cars still in this race. Nobody has DNF'd up to this point. We had quite a few engine failures on the Cup race yesterday. I believe 7 drivers DNF'd with engine failures. 2 of the chase drivers as well. Matt Kensington, points leader, going into the race. Mike Bliss also blew an engine. Lessons learned from his father. Another block. At least that one was in plenty of time for Junior to make a move, and now he really arcs the corner off and backs up the corner. Dive bombing to the inside of the 152. Clears him. Trying to get under Michael Jourdain Jr. And there was a couple times Jourdain tried to block Dale Jr. Jr. back inside the top 25. Brandon Miller, 10th in the point standings, right in front of Earnhardt. The race's number 21 Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing. Junior way down low, trying to make sure there was going to be no block attempt. Goes back a little higher so he doesn't chop the corner off too deep. Got it to stick really well that time. He's going to get around 2 cars. Car in the wall behind him. They stacked up just a little bit. It seems like the car on the outside, especially off turn 4, is having a hard time trying to stick the corner. Fastest lap of the race for Junior that last time, a 31.277. Oh my goodness, Junior shoved way up the track that time. He had a little bit of a hole, luckily. Oh, he got aero loose that time into turn 3. Catches the car. He's going to lose a spot. car turned so easily into turn 3 with the car right on his back bumper going into the corner, and it caused the 81 to turn, as it was so free that time on corner entry compared to every other corner before that in this race. May lose the bottom as he's still trying to get his momentum back. 21 car now. Brandon Miller right in front of him. Stays in front. And Miller's in the wall pretty good off turn 4, and Jourdain's going to get around him on the front stretch, it appears. Dale Jr. still 5.4 seconds off the race lead. 11 likes on the stream. Be sure to hit that like button if you have not already. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as well. Notorious, thanks for tuning into the stream also. Good pass on the 63 car. Another fantasy driver. Dale Jr. back into the top half of the field. 22nd rather. Michael Jordan's son drove NASCAR. Michael Jourdain Jr. Not Michael Jordan Jr. MJJ. That's what we'll call him for short. Start calling him MJ. Michael Jordan. Raced in the Busch Series in 2005. Michael Jordan. I'm assuming he was joking. Michael Jordan even have a son? I don't think he's a Michael Jordan Jr. We need to get to the bottom of that. Michael Jordan, if he has a son, is his son named Michael also? Good run. Just got to that left rear corner panel, the 135, able to side draft him. 135 a little sideways off the exit of turn 2 with that, and allowed for Junior to complete the pass down the backstretch through 3 and 4. Now the 135 gets into the wall. And you just cannot hold the outside off turn 4. Junior's only been on the outside for one corner today, and I think it was in turns 1 and 2. Run on the exit of the corner. Goes underneath, goes back up the track, trying to side draft. Into turns 3 and 4, down on the bottom. Bottom lane left open by the 138. Junior, he just slid up the track right into him. 138 car, I believe, got in the wall. Junior to 19th. He was committed to not lifting there. .8 seconds behind Truex. The good news is Truex has a fast car. Dale Jr.'s his teammate. You would think Junior's got a pretty good car too. Lap 40. And we had 2 early cautions just like in the Cup race last night, but we'll see if we get a long green flag run here. We have over a 200 lap green flag. Well, it's not even possible to have that long of a green flag run with this being a shorter race, obviously, by 100 miles. Large single file line of a lot of cars right in front of Dale Jr. that he's going to try to get around here very shortly. Closing in on the 163 car in front of him. Jr. gets his car to turn down to the bottom of the track. Found a little pocket of clean air. Really low exit as well. It's actually the 131, not the 163 he's trying to pass. Thought it was the Old Spice car for a second, but it was not. And Dale Jr. will make the pass. For 18th place. Dale Jr.'s car was not tight at all in the Cup race yesterday, but this Busch Series race is a little too tight. especially as the run gets later and later and later. Does make another pass through 1 and 2. All clear on the 83 car, moving up down the back straightaway. Entering turns 3 and 4. Turns that car all the way down to the bottom. Got back in the gas a bit too soon. Burps the throttle just a bit. Doesn't want to put the car in the wall. I actually got in the wall once in practice. I think I made contact with another car in practice when I was in traffic also. I was aware it was a bit on edge though. It was a little looser than this. I didn't think that skosh more of downforce added into the car before the start of the race is going to make it this much tighter. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't have done it. But I don't know how a long run would have lasted though with that other car at the same time too. Down to the apron goes Dale Jr. About fought his way to the inside of the car in front of him. JJ Yaley's really falling back. Looks like he's about 14. Junior getting really tight. So did the 119 car. 119 might have grazed the wall as John Hamilton really ran him up the racetrack. So Yaley, Hamilton, Dale Jr. all inside the top 10 in points. And they are all in this group battling for position here outside the top 13, it appears. Big block middle of the front stretch. That nearly got Dale Jr. sideways. Definitely got the car he was trying to pass sideways. And that guy's going to lose a couple positions. Not just to Dale Jr., but 1 or 2 cars behind him also going to get around. 3 blocks now in a straightaway that drivers have tried to pull in which they were not clear. Jr. pocketed clean air, at least before John Hamilton moved down just up ahead. Allows Jr. to get around the 119, quickly to the inside of Yaley for 14th, and he'll be able to clear him on the front stretch. At least the straightaway speed is there on the 81 car. Perfect corner through 1 and 2. Hamilton moved up on his line. Helped the 81 car turn just a bit. Ideally, if Dale Jr. can get back in the top 10 before we get the green flag pit stops, I think that would be a good start to his comeback here. 4.2 seconds off the lead. Hamilton holding strong on the outside. Junior clear. I think that's Clint Boyer outside the top 10 right now. I really hope it is. Looks like the AC Delco 2 car from behind who's stuck on the outside. So Boyer moving backwards. This could be an opportunity for Dale Jr. to pick up a lot of points today if he can get himself back towards the front of the field. As high as 5th, right where he started today for a brief moment. I don't know if he's got a top 5 car though in the race. We'll contact in this pack up here. Shane Neal will clip from, I believe, Casey Kane behind him in the 79 car. Boyer way down low in the back straightaway, trying to make a move. Potentially 3 wide into turn 3. Can't get to the inside of Kane and Meal. And Kane couldn't even get underneath Meal either. Boyer has finished a lot of races up towards the front of the field, even when it seems like Junior wins. Boyer's right there with him. 4 of the 10 wins from Dale Jr. this year at least. Boyer's finished second, including each of the last 2 races Dale Jr. won. Boyer finished second in both of them at Richmond. And at Dover. A couple of the short tracks. Impressive win by Junior in that last race at Dover. Boyer making a pass on Casey Kane for 11, still outside the top 10 for now. He was stuck on the outside for quite some time though. Alternate through the different camera angles for the first time today when we get to the start-finish line this time. Quarter of the way home, 50 laps complete out of 200. He's got a bit of clean air through turns 1 and 2. Trying to close in on Casey Kane. No pressure from behind for the 81 of Earnhardt. Definitely couldn't get the car to turn that time through 3 and 4. Stuck in the middle. all the way through the corner as he's trying to close in on Kane still. Only 3.7 seconds off the race lead. He was about 5.5 back at one point, so he's slightly closed that gap on Truex. I will say Dale Jr.'s car seems to be a little bit better on the short run. It's just so tight longer in the run. If he's still in traffic, he's having a hard time turning the race car. Bit too low that time. 3 and 4 had to lift, and he lost about 0.2 of a second to Truex this lap. Looking that white line in the middle of the corner. Didn't get overly tight on exit. Closes the gap on Kasey Kahne. He picked up about those 0.2 he lost the entire last lap, all in 1 and 2 alone that time. Kahne runs a bit wider than Earnhardt again. Kahne still ran a bit lower than Bowyer. Bowyer went to the high side, Kahne to the middle, Dale Jr. all the way down to the bottom. Jr. has a pretty big run on Kasey Kahne. He's going to look to the inside in turns 1 and 2. Not wanting to waste any time to get around the 79 of Kahne. Contact up the track. Forced Kasey Kahne in the outside wall. Dan Jr. got aero loose through 3 and 4 as Kasey Kahne is all over his back bumper. I don't think Kahne appreciated that. Pass from Dale Jr. Bowyer's pulled pretty close to Shane Meal now. Cup Series, Dale Jr. is able to go about 61 laps on fuel. And he's got about 1/8 of a tank left now. We've had 6 caution laps, though, at the same time. Jr. really tight that time. He turns 3 and 4. I don't know if he's going to get to the top 10 before green flag pit stops like I would have hoped. We're going to have to loosen this car up just a bit. Probably going to try to do it very minor, knowing there's going to be a few pit stops today. Contact off turn 2 up ahead. Dale Jr. trying to block the 79 car of Kasey Kahne all the way down the back straightaway. He sees him in his rearview mirror. Oh, me and Clint going at it. Well, we're definitely going at it for the title. This is definitely a good chance Dale Jr. can get some points back, though. Probably going to stay out as long as he can to hopefully lead a lap, if possible. It's going to be a little harder this far back in the field, though, depending on exactly when everybody pits. Go back to the far chase cam again. Start-finish line this time by. His lap times have fallen off over 0.2 of a second in the very beginning of the run when he was inside the top 10 for that second caution. Definitely going to have to make an adjustment. Try to loosen the car up just a bit. And Martin Truex Jr. going to pit from the lead this time by. Kyle Busch will be out in front. And Clint Bowyer's on his way in. So get Dale Jr. inside the top 10 once again as he's up to 8th place. As he had about 4 cars in front of him hit pit road that time, including the points leader and the race leader. Truex led every lap leading up to him pitting. He's definitely looking like he's got the best car in the field today. We could potentially see our 12th different winner in the Busch Series. Another car out of the top 10 will pit. It looked like thought it was John Hamilton, but then again, I think we passed Hamilton a little further back in the field. And there's Truex. Dale Jr. is only going to be able to go about another lap or 2 until he pits. Shane Meal is in. Jr. almost in the wall off turn 4. He's committed. Dale Jr. is going to stay out this time by He'll pit at lap 62, so he's really hoping the rest of the field, the top 5 in front of him, pit this time. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to get a lap let in. Could get a caution. That would be huge. That would trap Boyer a lap down. Sergeant Deadhead Billy Carjoy, thanks for tuning in to the stream. Junior a bit wide that time. Nobody in the top 5 pitted. Junior will pit this time by. Car got really tight through 1 and 2. Casey Kane closing that gap behind him again. So Junior will pit this time. Through turns 3 and 4. Can't wreck the race car as he locks the tires down just a bit. But he did hold control enough, trying to get as much out of it as he can before hitting pit road. First stop of the day. Gonna make a wedge adjustment. Gonna put 2 pounds of air pressure into the race car. Will be the adjustment for Dale Jr. this first time. So 2 pounds of air pressure all the way around. 4 tire stop for the 81 crew. Brakes are black, yeah. Almost contact with Hamilton, it looked like, coming out of the pits. Kenny Walsh going to lead for the first time today now. Junior wasn't able to make the pass. Like it took him a while to get up to speed coming out of the pits too. We'll see where he cycles out. He was in 12th place when the green flag pit stops first started. Car's going to be maybe a little bit looser, a little bit edgier with the air pressure adjustment. Just hoping it turns a little better in traffic, really. Picker should get a little more credit. I don't know who was on Dale Jr.'s Busch Series pit crew when he ran part-time in 2005 in this 81 car. I don't even know if Tony Erie Jr. was still his crew chief in the Busch Series. It might not have been. Chance 2 Motorsports. I feel like it would make sense if he was. Yeah, definitely 3 stops. I think everybody's hit pit road. Kyle Busch back in the lead, and Junior, of course, back in the lead lap. But Dale Jr.'s lost 2 spots. And a bit more time than just that, as he's 6.7 seconds off the lead. He was about 3.7 off the lead. He lost about 3 seconds. And Kyle Busch cycling out in front of Martin Truex Jr., even though Truex pitted before him. Pretty good stop by the 5 team. Kyle Busch has not won a Busch Series race this season. Rookie full-time of the Cup Series isn't running the full Busch Series season either, like some of the Cup Series regulars have. Teresa Earnhardt was not his crew chief. I don't think he would have appreciated it. Could you imagine listening to your mom or stepmom in your ear while you're trying to put down the fastest laps possible? A super fast track with a car with low downforce, like these cars. The car is definitely freer for Dale Jr. because he is turning a bit easier than what he was before. He's going to have to kind of reconfigure the way he's entering the corner. Probably give it a little bit more throttle on entry as well. He tried to that time and couldn't get it all the way down to the bottom. Trying to find that sweet spot for right now. He's definitely closing in on a couple of the cars in front of him. Not sure where Clint Boyer cycled out of the pits because he was in 11th when everybody started pitting, just 1 spot ahead of Dale Jr. But he was also one of the first cars to pit, so he may have gotten back inside the top 10. 31.39 won that last lap. Not sure what car that was exactly, but it sounds like we've got a car that did blow an engine earlier in the race and is coming back onto the racetrack. So there's at least going to be one car on the track the rest of this race. So we have 131 laps to go. That is down a cylinder. Cycle out of the pits behind Dale Jr. this time. Jr. just ran his fastest lap of the race that last time by, quicker than what he ran in qualifying when he qualified 5th as well. Look at Hamilton go way up the racetrack. Got really tight in line behind Casey Kane. Opens up the bottom for Dale Jr. to get under him off turn 4. 31.3 that last lap, but it was a 31.2 something the lap before that for Dale Jr. A little bit of space on the bottom. A slide clear of John Hamilton for 13th, and now he's going to try to get back around Casey Kane, the car he was in front of before the stops. A lot of battling for position going on just up ahead. Big run for Dale Jr. on Casey Kane. 31.273 that last lap. Earnhardt arcs his corner off through 1 and 2. Gets to the inside of Casey Kane. Side drafts him a little bit in the middle of the corner. Trying to make the pass for 12th. Kane goes back down the track. Middle of the back straightaway trying to squeeze Jr. Side draft his right rear corner panel now. He probably wanted to get to the bottom before John Hamilton had a shot to get around him as well, and he was unable to do so. So Kane will lose 2 spots that lap and fall back to 14th. And since coming out of the pits, Dale Jr.'s gained about a full second already. So I'd say that air pressure adjustment, just 2 pounds of air pressure, was just enough to loosen it up, at least on the short run. We'll see how it is on the long run. I think it'll be better than what it was the last time. But we'll see if they have to make more adjustments going forward. You know that last tire stint at the end of the race is going to be the shortest one by far. They're only going to have to go about 20 to 30 laps. So you could probably get away with maybe making another major adjustment there. I don't know how much major of an adjustment you make on the second stop, though. First stop, it honestly was even a minor adjustment, just the 2 pounds of air pressure. But that has helped this car out quite a bit. Sitting up a little higher, taking a little bit of the downforce out of it, and return making the car just a tad looser. Even with the tighter car through that first run, he did manage his tires fairly well. Still, 6.7 seconds is a lot to make up. And Kyle Busch seems to be really pulling away from Truex and the rest of the field behind him. I think this giant pack is pretty much everybody from second on back, and Kyle Busch is seconds ahead of them. So definitely a lot of positions up for grabs. Like Shane Neal, Tony Stewart battling for 10th. Dale Jr. closing in on the 32 and the 33. Jack Johnson, thanks for tuning in. Jr. down to the apron through the tri-oval, taking a bit of a shortcut that time. I don't do that too many times. Speeds look better tonight. Well, this is the Busch series, so you wouldn't think that the cars are as fast. Top end speed's not as quick. It does, and I think that is making the mid corner speed a bit quicker in return, which could be a reason why the car's tighter tonight than what it was yesterday. Tony Stewart got passed by Shane Neal, and he was stuck on the outside. Dale Jr. is able to get down. Neal hops down right in front of the 81. Stewart was still on the outside, though, of Dale Jr., so Jr. was boxed in. Now he has cleared Tony Stewart. Really low exit to the corner. Got a great run on Neal in the back straightaway. Great exit to turn 2. Looks low into turns 3 and 4. And one of the slow cars is up on the outside. Truex has lost a lot of ground. Neal got a little loose off turn 4. Dale Jr. makes the pass. Big run for the 81. He'll get by the lap car a lot easier. And he is all over both his teammate Martin Truex Jr. and Matt Kenseth in the 17 car. Almost making contact was Kenseth and Truex that time. Jr., the dirty air, pushed a bit wide. Truex trying to get back around the 17 of Kenseth into turns 3 and 4. Kenseth battles back on the outside. Dale Jr. down to the bottom, trying to get around Matt Kenseth in the 17. Going up the track just a bit. Kenseth's in the wall off turn 4. He's going to lose a spot to Earnhardt and Stewart. Jr. back inside the top 10 again and looking to get around his teammate Truex, who dominated the first portion of the race but lost a lot of spots on pit road during green flag pit stops. And he has fallen all the way back to 9th as his teammate's going to get around him cleanly through 1 and 2. they're going to catch that slow car about every 10 to 12 laps. Junior got through him pretty easily that time. Certainly Marlon was a pain to get around back at Talladega in the Cup race a few nights ago on Saturday. So hopefully we don't have too many of those types of situations, but it really helped Dale Jr. close in quickly on Truex and Kenseth, who were probably a couple seconds ahead of him before that. And overall, 4.5 seconds off the lead. Junior's picked up 2.2 seconds since exiting pit road right around lap 61, so in about 62 he pitted, so in 18 laps he has picked up 2 seconds on Busch. Push the tires. Oh yeah, now's the time to gain. This car is a lot faster. It's a little bit freer than what it was on the first run. I definitely like the adjustments. Still a little tight center off, and it's probably going to get worse over the course of the run, but as the tires start to fade. But for right now, it's definitely turning in a lot better, and if there's no cars directly in front of me, I can still push pretty hard. I don't know how much deeper I can go. I mean, some of the time I go a bit wide. That's just, sometimes the car won't turn all the way down to the bottom. Unless I back up the corners a little more, but I'm really just trying to push for all I can right now. Got to make up this gap somehow. Got a little bit more clean air that time. Every time he gets those left sides a little bit below the apron, though, the car does wiggle a bit more. It's definitely more unstable. He can get away with it this early in the run at times. Not as the tires start to wear, though, so he doesn't want to make that too much of a habit. Defensive line on the backstretch by Mark Martin. Mark Martin and Bobby Labonte, the next two cars that Dale Jr. is going to have to try to pass. Got to the inside of Martin that time. Quickly passes him through turns 3 and 4. Junior's picked up 3 seconds total now on the leaders. I think Kyle Busch is going to be catching natural lap traffic here before long. Labonte goes wide through 1 and 2. Junior is able to hit his marks down to the bottom. Closes the gap on the 19. You know who down in the chat. Thanks for tuning into the stream. Caution's out for the 3rd time tonight. And it's one of the... Oh, man, that was a hard hit. One of the fantasy drivers spins, backs it into the outside wall off the exit of turn 2. And then one car, who was the first one behind him, sideswipes him pretty good, which was the 107. Interesting spot here for the caution to come out. Dale Jr. is going to pit. We'll see if anybody else pits. They got about 25 laps on their tires, and that will be the case. So 4 tires of fuel, no adjustments this time for Dale Jr. 2nd stop of the day for the field. It may be just a one-stopper to the end from here. But they're going to have to take these next couple runs all the way out. So that last run, which was going to be the shortest run, now isn't. The second run was, with the caution coming out in the middle of the run. Again, about 25 to 30 laps into the fuel and tire stint for most of the field. Now it's the time for the 81 crew to try and gain some spots on pit road. They lost 2 spots during green flag conditions. Time to get some spots back here, as he was in 7th when the caution came out. TWs. And I think Junior might have gained 1 spot. Unfortunately, Clint Boyer wins the race off pit road, so he had gained a lot of spots there. I think he was outside the top 5 before that, and now Clint Boyer gains a bunch of spots on pit road. He is going to be the leader on the restart. That's 5 bonus points for the points leader, and Dale Jr. still has not been able to lead a lap yet today. 3 wide going into turns 1 and 2 on the restart. Jr. did not take off well again. It's not going to get passed completely by Martin, who is trying to get around to the outside. The slow car up high, who's down a cylinder, holding up Kyle Busch in the 5 car, who was the leader prior to the caution. Junior had an opportunity to get to the inside of the 5. Couldn't quite do it. Lapper still trying to stay wide and out of the way off the exit of turn 4 as the rest of the field is trying to get by. Busch with a block. On the front stretch, Boyer leads his first green flag lap at the line. Busch goes way wide through 1 and 2 as he overdrives the corner. Dale Jr. underneath him, gets into him. Busch is in the wall off turn 2. Slowing both cars down with the contact. And now they're 3 wide behind Busch and Earnhardt. Earnhardt getting a little arrow loose with John Hamilton in line behind him. Mark Martin trying to go up the middle. Hamilton blocks the 9 car up high. Another car in the wall. Whoever is on the outside of the 9 of Martin. We stay green. Saw a couple cautions back-to-back at the beginning of the race. This definitely another wild restart. And Dale Jr. finally clears Busch off turn 2 for 5th. Clint Boyer's lost the lead. He's fallen back to 3rd. Looks like Carl Edwards leads for the first time today in the 60 after spinning, bringing out that first caution all the way back at lap 2. When he was 3 wide middle and wrecked off turn 4 off the initial start. Derek Booth, thanks for tuning into the stream. Boyer back into the lead again. Edwards went really wide through turns 1 and 2. I can't tell who else is up there. Kenny Wallace, and I can't tell who that other car is. Maybe Bobby Labonte? Edwards grazes the wall again off turn 4. And Kenny Wallace is going to have a run on him on the front stretch. Edwards led that 1 lap and then falls straight backwards. Junior's car is better on the short run, especially since the setup changed, so that caution really paid dividends. Right as he got about halfway through the field run, he was able to pit again for tires. Everybody else went with him. Edwards gets tight, the dirty error, and as he moves up the racetrack, Kenny Wallace to the inside off turn 4. Side by side for 3rd place. Dale Jr. looking low, Wallace with a block. Wallace goes up the track trying to side draft the 60 as they go wide. Dale Jr. is going to get underneath to go 3 wide, and he gets around them both for 3rd place. Capitalized on that opportunity, and Dale Jr. is up as high in the running order as he has been all day. Taking 94 laps to get up to the top 3, but he has finally gotten there. They have made the right adjustment to this 81 car during that first stop. Didn't even have to touch the car on stop number 2. Just has to hope he's got the long run car once we get 30-plus laps into the run. Because he was fading during the first run, but he's definitely helped the short run. Edwards gets back around Kenny Wallace through turns 1 and 2 for 4th. Junior's got to make sure he hits his marks and not let the 60 car get underneath him. Great run through the corner for Dale Jr. Edwards got tight. Edwards overdrove it, trying to get to the back of the 81 car. He's in the wall off turn 4, loses more ground. No pressure behind Dale Jr. anymore. Now it's going to be him trying to apply the pressure to the top 2 in front of him, of Bobby Labonte and Clint Boyer. Junior's thinking about it. He's going to take the dive under Labonte. He had a great run off turn 2. Flips the apron, got a little loose, had to check out of the gas a bit, but he still stays underneath Labonte just enough. Front stretch clear for 2nd. Top 2 in points, run 1-2 for the first time in the race today, and Dale Jr. needs to get to the lead quickly on Boyer, who has 5 bonus points already. Don't want a shot at him potentially leading more than that. Boyer goes to that middle lane through 3 and 4. Junior's able to get his car to turn a lot better down on the bottom. Big run for Earnhardt. Boyer trying to throw a block on the inside. Almost making contact. Fastest lap of the race for Junior that time with a 31.239. Boyer goes wide through 1 and 2. He sailed it off into the corner, though, because he was about a... Junior was all over his back bumper going in, and he cleared him by... pulled out to about a half a car length more by the middle of the corner, which allowed Junior to beat him back to the gas off the exit. Boyer going wide again. Junior's going to get underneath him one of these times, catching the slow car. Junior trying to go all the way down to the apron this time, trying to get around the slow car. Boyer's checking up. He's going to trap the lapper. Oh, now Junior's caught behind the lap car. Now he'll get low. It's Tony Stewart, the 33, by the way, who is a driver slow on the track with a blown engine. Junior went to the apron. Great move. He carried the momentum off turn 4, and he takes the lead for the first time today. 5 bonus points for the 81, and now he leads in front of rival and championship rival at that, Clint Boyer. Boyer on the outside. Can't hold it. He's in the wall off turn 4. Halfway home next time by. Black Superman, thanks for tuning into the stream. Kind of similar to the Cup race. Might not see anybody pull away. Busch was able to before, I should say after green flag pit stops. That's kind of when we saw Gordon and Earnhardt pull away from the rest of the field last night, was during those couple green flag stops. Considering they just pitted under the yellow about 15 to 16 laps ago, it's going to be a ways before everybody else pits again. The window to the end of the race doesn't even open up for about another 40 laps. Yeah, Kansas put on some good racing between last night and tonight so far. This might be the best mile and a half on this game as far as the raceability of these cars go. Junior's car's a little more on edge today. We haven't seen the outside car hold on well through 3 and 4. And Junior's going to be on the outside through 3 and 4 for the first time. He's got a lift. That was not going to stick. That's going to cost him, but it's better than mowing the wall down off the exit of the corner, losing even more time. Still has good enough straightaway speed, even lifting as much as he did in the middle of the corner to stay in front of the 22 as he carried at least a little bit of momentum off the exit. As Clint Boyer gets to the lead. Junior ran as low as he could. He was all over the right rear corner panel of Boyer without making contact. But he knew he wasn't going to hold it. Sometimes you could just feel it coming. Trying to get back around the deuce. Down to the inside. Junior slides up. Not going to be able to clear the 2 off of turn 2. He's going to run really low, trying to make sure Boyer doesn't side draft him. Better angle into the corner, though, for Boyer. Slides up, a little contact. Boyer's going to get in the wall just a bit off turn 4 as well, and that's going to give Junior the lead. Finally clears him. He's got the crossover coming now. Kenny Wallace back in the mix again. Boyer to the lead. And now Junior's going to try to cross him over with the run off the high side. Back and forth go the 2 and the 81. The championship leaders. Slide job through 3 and 4. Boyer's in the wall. He'll lose second place and the lead. Kenny Wallace to P2, and Junior got down the track to block Wallace in time on the front stretch. I didn't know if Junior was going to be able to stick that. He did. Boyer could not. Once the 81 took the air off the nose of his race car, he shoved into the wall. And Kenny Wallace moves back into P2. Second time Boyer's gotten in the wall over the last dozen laps, trying to battle Earnhardt on the outside. He's got to be careful. Could put himself in danger of cutting a tire down or having some sort of an issue. Wrecking. Number 2 is a Richard Childress racing car. If that's what you're implying down in the chat or asking. Kenny Wallace on the inside. Junior doesn't get aero loose. And Kenny Wallace is in the wall pretty hard off turn 2. He blocks Boyer despite the lack of speed on the front stretch after that clip into the wall. I was wondering if he was going to stick that. He drove it in so deep in the corner because he closed quickly on the back of the 81. He couldn't hold it. And they're catching up to this slow car again. Probably next lap. Junior's hoping he catches him on the front stretch and not in 1 and 2. Probably going to catch him in 1 and 2. Tony Stewart. Junior with a run. Oh my goodness, Tony Stewart chops off the 81. Junior gets by, slides back onto the surface. That costed Earnhardt a little bit of time, and here comes Kenny Wallace with another run. That was ridiculous. He's an ally, too. That's what doesn't make any sense. We did not do trivia. We can now. Tonight's trivia question, a Kansas track fact that you guys have to answer. Other than Chase Briscoe, who's the only driver to win in the Xfinity Series in a Ford in the last decade? So who is the only Xfinity Series driver to win at Kansas in a Ford in the last decade other than Chase Briscoe, who got his win in 2020? We're still not able to get around Kenny Wallace for second. 31.152 that last lap for Dale Jr., his fastest lap of the race. He gave up a lot of bottom there. He's about to be in the wall. My goodness, he overran that corner. Up in the marbles, he chopped Boyer off turn 2. Didn't want to give a chance for Boyer to get underneath him, and right when Boyer got around Kenny Wallace, he loses the spot again, and Wallace is able to clear him. Boyer goes wide. He did keep it off the wall, though, off turn 4, luckily. And Dale Jr. holds on to the lead. 89 laps to go. It's not Kimmy. .88 laps to go with the line. Fastest lap, 31.119 that last lap. We'll go back to Mark Truex Jr., who is all the way back to 14th after leading a lot of laps in this race after qualifying on the pole. He's probably still led the most up to this point. J.J. Yaley with a block on the 8 of Truex. Nice Demon King, 92 Hammer, thanks for tuning in. And it's not Jimmy, it's not Austin Cindric or Logano. And actually, Ice Demon King has gotten tonight's answer correct, and he also got the year as well. It was 2012, and it was Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Championship winning season for Stenhouse that year. He's also the only Ford driver to win at Kansas the same year in which he had won the championship also. So a couple of facts there with Stenhouse getting that win in 2012 at the Kansas Speedway. J.J. Yaley's he's been throwing a lot of blocks today. Now he's blocking Mark Truex Jr. quite a bit. As Dale Jr. holds on to the lead at the front of the field. One more lap will go back to Dale Jr. again. Now the bottom's open for Truex to get to the inside of the 18. Matt Kenseth in the 17 car. The next one up ahead of Truex. See if we can get to Kenseth for 10th. Truex only 2.5 seconds off the race lead. Really low exit. I'll have to stay in line behind the 17 car, though. So we go back to Dale Jr. 30.9. Jr. got a little arrow loose from the 23 of Kenny, or 22 rather. Kenny Wallace. Boyer to the bottom. Jr. chopping Boyer off to get down to the inside into turns 3 and 4 to stay in front of the 2. And now Boyer's in the wall for the 3rd time off turn 4. Told you it was Junior. I didn't see no Torres put that in the chat. If you did put Stenhouse in the chat, Torres, before Ice Demon King did, I will give you full credit for it. I didn't see it at the time. I wasn't looking at the chat. If you answered. If you answer like Junior, like just Junior itself, that's not specific enough. I think most people, when they consider the name Junior, they probably think of Dale Jr. Kenny Wallace is a pretty good dirt racer. Great late model driver. Well, field about to catch Tony Stewart again. They just caught him 7 laps ago. Stewart is well off the pace. I think NASCAR needs to black flag him. I don't think he's meeting minimum speed. Kenny Wallace going to be the first car to catch him this time. Dale Jr. to the inside of Kenny Wallace. He's going to make the pass for the lead. Stewart's going to try to throw a block on Dale Jr. again. He's so many laps down. Jr. didn't get loose into the corner that time. Kenny Wallace had to get by on the outside. Clint Boyer probably got held up the most, but Dale Jr. gets by Kenny Wallace for the lead again with that move. In that holdup. Big run by Kenny Wallace through 3 and 4. Mark Martin, Carl Edwards catching up after the stack up with Tony Stewart as well. We'll have to have a 5-car battle for the lead with about 80 laps to go. 16 likes on the stream so far. Be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you have not already. 80 laps to go. 5 races left to crown a champion after tonight's race. And then 4 after tomorrow night's race at Charlotte at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. 31-119 that last lap for Dale Jr. He's running really fast last, with the rest of the field still keeping up with him. That's just a testament to how fast everybody is tonight. Junior's already running about 2/10 quicker than what he was in qualifying with the adjustment change. Little arrow loose from the 22 car, held on to the bottom, at least in the middle of the corner, but off the exit he can't. Kenny Wallace lurking to the inside. Junior led that lap at the line barely. It's another lap led at least, but he's going to be on the outside into turns 1 and 2 with Kenny Wallace down low. Kenny Wallace is up there. Junior has to get off the gas completely to keep from getting in the wall as he went way wide. Couldn't stick the corner, and Clint Boyer's up to second again. Junior trying to get to the inside of the 2, can't do so. Mark Martin up to 4th. Carl Edwards right behind him. The Roush Fenway Fords were strong last night. The Cup race, Edwards led a couple laps today, maybe 1, that was about it. And there might be a 3-wide battle for the lead into turn 3 as Junior gets underneath Boyer while he simultaneously gets to the inside of Kenny Wallace. Up the racetrack goes Wallace. 3 wide down to the bottom now goes Mark Martin. What a move by the 9 of Martin as he gets by Junior and Wallace. And now Junior's going to try to cross the 9 over. He's digging. Everybody's digging. Boyer's in the lead. Mark Martin's up to second. He's trying to block Junior in the back straightaway. Junior doesn't want to give up the positioning this time. Trying to back the corner up. Gets a good exit. Martin still stays in front of him. He ran the outside really well. Kenny Wallace got the wall, allowing Carl Edwards now to get up to 4th. And the Roush cars on this longer run of Carl Edwards and Mark Martin getting through the field. Martin has not won a race on the Cup or Busch Series side of things yet. Carl Edwards has won 9 races combined between the Cup and the Busch Series, 4 on the Busch side and 5 in the Cup. John Hamilton's in the mix. We got a 6-car battle for the lead at Kansas with 75 laps to go. And we're about 40 laps into this green flag run. Edwards in the wall hard off turn 4. Loses a lot of ground, stacking up John Hamilton at 6th. Behind him as Kenny Wallace gets back to P4. Martin looking for his first lead in the race on Boyer. Mark Martin might have the fastest car during the run right now. I don't know where his speed really came from. He was just kind of slowly catching these guys. And I think the 3 cars of Boyer, Earnhardt, Walls might have wore their tires out battling each other pretty hard. Martin goes wide though. He was caught in the dirty air behind the 2. Boyer goes wide as well. Junior to the inside of Boyer for the lead after clearing Martin off turn 4. Martin back to 3rd. 31-127 that last lap for Dale Jr. as he's on the inside of Clint Boyer. Through turns 1 and 2. Trying to hold on. He goes wide. He side drafts him. Martin down on the inside. 3 wide for the lead off turn 2. Contact between the 81 and the 2 up high. Martin going for the lead. Chopping the corner off into turns 3 and 4. And Mark Martin leads for the first time today at Kansas. Unbelievable drive by Martin. Now he goes wide. Nobody can hold on to the lead. Contact up high. Martin's in the wall. Junior back out in front. Everybody's just trying to hold on for dear life. And here comes Tony Stewart. Every time these guys catch him, it's on the front stretch. Stewart gives a lot more room to Dale Jr. that time. Side by side for second between Boyer and Wallace. Wallace checked up on the outside behind Stewart. Boyer back to P2. And about a 3-car length lead for Dale Jr. now. Is finally has a little bit of a sigh of relief from all the battling going on. He's got some breathing room. Boyer, the major block now on Kenny Wallace. And that pit window also is going to open up probably the next 10 to 15 laps to make it to the end of the race on fuel. So we are still one stop out from the finish. Kenny Wallace drives it in hard through 3 and 4. Gets back by Boyer for second again. Tires haven't fallen off so much during the run. Junior's having a hard time right now. Got in the wall a bit off turn 2. That costed him. There goes that 3/10 of a second lead just like that. Tires are shot right now on the 81, 22, and the 2. Yet they run 1, 2, 3. Martin fell all the way back to 5th. They're leading just a couple laps ago. I think him and Edwards definitely got caught behind Tony Stewart a little more than the top 3 did. $70 to go. Wallace with a great run. Such a low exit to turn 4. Had a lot of grip. Junior side drafts him. Able to lead that lap. Wants to get back down to the bottom because he knows the outside doesn't have a lot of grip. Oh, contact! That knocks Earnhardt into the wall. That was just a racing deal there. Junior kind of came down. The 2 was coming up to make the exit of the corner also. We've got a race going on currently at the Kansas Speedway. Heated one at that. Junior to the inside of Boyer. They might be 3 wide into 3 again. They are. It is tight. Nope, they're not. Kenny Wallace stayed in front of the 2. Boyer going wide. In the wall off turn 4. I think Junior took the air off the left rear quarter panel of the 2. Boyer couldn't make it. That's the 4th time Boyer's hit the wall off turn 4 during this run alone. This battling's almost as good, if not better, than the Cup race last night. Good. The drive by Earnhardt underneath Kenny Wallace. Might have more lead changes than the Cup race, even though it's 67 laps shorter, too. 30 was what we had in the Cup race last night. Kenny Wallace holds on. Edwards starting to reel in the top 3 again. Take our second and final field pass of the race, this time by. Will drive as Martin Truex Jr. in the 8 car for about 2 more laps. Truex in 9th place currently. He's pacing pretty well on fuel right now. He's only a half a tank. He fell back quite a bit off that restart too. Looks like Kenny Wallace got around Dale Jr. for the lead through turns 1 and 2. Truex has gained some ground also because we left him in the 11th place position. Led a lot of laps early. I wouldn't count this 8 car for Chance 2 Motorsports out of it just yet. He is quickly closing in on Kyle Busch and Aaron Crocker, who are the next two cars in front of him again. Digging, he's only 2 seconds off the lead. Closing in the slow car, Tony Stewart. Probably going to catch him this next lap. Go back to Dale Jr. again. And this time for the rest of the race, as we have just north of 60 laps to go. They're going to catch Stewart more through 1 and 2 this time. Jr. tight in the dirty air on the outside behind Kenny Wallace. Going to close in on Stewart. Boyer clears, crossover. Big block by Kenny Wallace. Stewart up high. 3 wide on entry as Jr. got pinched by Boyer. Holds on to the throttle to make the corner. Everybody's on old, worn-out tires this point in the run. What a race. What a championship battle. Oh my goodness, what a block by Boyer. Boyer got tight, he overdrove the corner. Jr. a bit loose, he overdrove it himself. Truex is going to pit. Window open to the end of the race for fuel. Window is open. Drivers trying to take advantage. Everybody on the outside, they can't even get their cars to turn to the bottom anymore. Weberton Gerald, thanks for tuning in. 1/8 of a tank of fuel left for Dale Jr. A lot of cars on pit road. They're going to go a lap down, so if caution comes out in the middle of the green flag run, their chances of winning this race going to be out. Definitely had some drivers on the top 10 pit. I don't even know who has the best car at this point. I thought it was Truex earlier, but once he lost the lead, he hasn't been the same. I think it's wide open, really. Boyer all the way to the inside. Trying to get by Kenny Walsh. Jr. again overdrives the corner. He's going to go wide, way out of the gas. And Boyer's going to get to third. Big mistake by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Edwards may get to the inside of Kenny Walsh. If Walsh can't get his car to turn down to the bottom, nobody's going to the inside. Jr. probably did the best there. Him and Edwards at least. They both get to the inside of the 22. Less than 60 laps to go. Edwards charging hard. Kenny Wallace in the wall. Pretty good off turn 4. Now it's a 3-car breakaway with 58 to go. Jr. with a run on Edwards. Edwards throwing a block. Earnhardt right behind them both. Edwards went way wide through 1 and 2. Big swing at the 2 of Boyer. Boyer run really low into 3 and 4. He may be pitting this time. Dale Jr. going to pull a slide job on Carl. Edwards clear. Through 3 and 4. Edwards in the wall. Lost the front of his race car. Boyer going to pit from the lead. Jr. back out in front again. Such a tight battle for the most laps led today, too. Even tighter than... Well, last night wasn't as tight as what I thought it'd be, but... the 30 lead changes we saw... drove horses. Edwards going to pit from second. Junior's losing a lot of time staying out here, but if he can get a caution, trapping the points leader a lap down, that would be huge. Kenny Wallace still on the racetrack. Might make another adjustment change to this 81, trying to take a big swing to try and help it on the longer run, knowing it's going to be almost a full fuel run to the end of the race. Kenny Wallace closing the gap. He won't pit this time. Junior with a block off turn 4. They'll lead this lap at the line over Wallace. Dale Jr. will pit this time by. He's not going to go another lap. Kenny Wallace going to the outside through turns 1 and 2. Interesting move. That's not going to work. There is no outside lane at this Kansas Speedway. Not in 2005. Dale Jr. will pit this time. He's made one stop under caution, one under green. This one's under green. Sliding. He's trying to get as much time on the pit road as possible. Really aggressive stop that time for Dale Jr. And they're going to make another air pressure change. They're going to add 2 more pounds of air pressure. That's 4 total from where it was at the start of the race. Predict a one-off of W's from the 0 car of Mike Bliss. That is a very gutsy prediction. Kenny Wallace stayed on the track another lap, so Junior's going to go lap down here. He's hoping for a late yellow. I don't think Kenny Wallace has won a race yet in the Busch Series season either, so he's looking for his first. Outside the top 10 in points, and he's running full-time in the Cup Series as well in the Aaron's Dream Machine for Michael Waltrip Racing. So there is Wallace. He continues to stay out. How long can Kenny Wallace go on fuel? Dale Jr. trying to get up to speed. He has lost a lot of ground. He stayed out quite a bit longer than everybody else. Kenny Wallace is going to lose even more ground than Junior. There's another clean stop on the 81. But he's going to have quite a few cars yet to pass. Some of these guys haven't pit yet. Kenny Wallace is in. Another driver that was just behind him is in. I think maybe Bobby Labonte in the 19. So Junior may cycle ahead of both of those cars, which would put him back inside the top 10. He already is back inside the top 10. Well, the adjustments are final. No more pit stops the rest of this race. Cup Series, we've had 3 straight races with cautions with less than 20 laps to go. What will happen in this Busch Series race today, in which we have seen 3 yellows? We had 4 in the Cup race yesterday, though this race is 67 laps shorter. And 2 of those 4 yellows yesterday came in the final 20 laps. Kenny has jet fuel in his car. Clint Bowyer back to the lead. Problematic for Dale Jr. because Bowyer is out leading more laps, and he's got a decent gap. He was the first car to hit pit road, though, of the leaders, so no surprise that has cycled him back to the lead. Dale Jr., one of the last of the leaders to pit, outside of Kenny Wallace and Bobby Labonte. So that has moved Dale Jr. back up to 9th. Jr. to the inside of Matt Kenseth. For 8th. Gonna clear him off turn 4. More so in the front stretch. He wasn't quite clear off turn 4. Kenseth didn't aggressively side draft the 81. Jr. taking the run he has on the front straightaway with the 17 not aggressively side drafting him. Dale Jr. to the inside of Eric Crocker. Slides up in front of Crocker for 7th, clear off turn 2. So 2 passes and 2 straight corners for Dale Jr. 2.6 seconds off race leader Clint Bowyer, trying to run him down with just 48 laps to go this time by. Yeah, but Kenny Wallace is much further behind than even what Dale Jr. was. 31.095 that last lap for Dale Jr. I don't know of many lap times in the 31.0s for Earnhardt today, so I think that adjustment change has quickened the 81 even more. Definitely went the right way, trying to get by Mark Martin, who had a great long run car on the last run. Does he have anything for this one? He lost some time on pit road, though. And how about Martin Truex Jr. gaining time on pit road? Of course, I think he was the very first car in the top 10 to pit, even a couple laps before Bowyer. Actually, now that I think about it, I think Truex pitted as soon as the window opened with about 61 laps to go. Little slide job through 1 and 2. Dale Jr. clears Mark Martin for 6th. What is it going to take to beat Clint Boyer for this championship. Martin got through 3 and 4 a bit better than Junior, who overran the corner. Junior trying to block the 9 car. He's only 2.4 seconds off the lead. He's gained 0.2 of a second on Boyer total in about 6 or 7 laps. He's probably going to need to have Boyer either drop off or Junior's going to have to pick up the pace a little bit if he's going to want to catch him. Especially considering he still has 4 more cars to pass before he gets to Boyer. He is overdriving 3 and 4 bad. 2 laps in a row. Bit too low in the middle of the corner. So he couldn't get back to the gas as soon as he wanted. He was running 31.0s, now he's running 31.2s, which isn't bad, but when he's trying to catch Boyer, he's being more consistent in the clean air. And no traffic directly behind him as well. There you go. He's probably going to catch Tony Stewart about another 4 or 5 more times the rest of the race. It'll be interesting to see how they get around him. Yeah, the one time I would need a caution late in the race. Screwed me over at Talladega in the Cup Series and barely survived in the Cup race at Kansas. And Dale Jr. trying to get the Kansas sweep today. And winning the Cup Series race. Sort of a little further back in the field. Definitely has led nowhere near the amount of laps percentage-wise as he led in the Cup race yesterday. He's got a race-winning capable car, but last night he had the fastest car in the field. At least by the end. Despite not making adjustments. Seemed like the track was coming to him throughout the course of the race. He was getting better with more repetition today. He's getting better with the adjustment changes. The rest of the field is also getting better simultaneously with their adjustment changes. Tony Stewart right in front of Clint Boyer off the exit of turn 2. It's slowing the race leader up down the back straightaway. Massive run coming for Carl Edwards in the 60. He's closed that gap down quite a bit. Everybody trying to stay low of Stewart off the exit of turn 4. Truex is going to get behind him. Junior has to lift to keep it off his teammate off the exit of turn 4. Overall net gain for Junior, and he also gains a spot. Truex still caught behind Stewart on the front stretch. Oh, poor Truex going to drop well outside the top 5, loses 2 positions, and is probably over 3 or 4 seconds off the lead now. Gap is closed to Boyer. Edwards, though, has a hungry couple cars of John Hamilton and Kyle Busch behind him, and now Busch is going for second place. Returns 3 and 4. Meanwhile, Dale Jr. again overdrives 3 and 4 himself further behind. We're still going to catch Stewart about... I mean, we're going to catch him every 7-8 laps, so we're going to catch him at least 4 more times the rest of this race. Jr. got through him pretty well. It wasn't perfect because he had to check up to keep from getting into his teammate. Caution is out. And this is going to change everything with 41 laps to go. Debris off the 107 car. He went a long time before shedding the debris. He was caught up in that third yellow, which had sparked about, I mean, what, lap 82, 83 that caution came out earlier? And he went over 50 laps before finally shedding the debris, about 60 laps. Caution's out. I'm imagining the leaders are going to stay out here. May see some cars pit. It'll be interesting. Nope, none of the front runners are going to pit. Lap cars will be on the inside of the lead lap cars. At least the slow car of Tony Stewart is the only lap car because of the timing of all the cautions so far today, as the green flag is going to be back in the air. Junior's not been good on restarts so far, at least taking off the first half of a lap. Boyer is stuck behind Stewart on the restart, who got around him through 1 and 2, and that's going to give the lead now, I believe, to Kyle Busch, and Boyer goes from 1st to 4th in 1 corner. Finally pulls out a line to get by Smoke. Kenseth got by Boyer on the restart. By Junior, rather, on the restart. Junior trying to get back underneath the 17. He pushes hard. Kenseth's in the wall off turn 4. Junior will clear him back. That's a big caution for Truex because he lost a lot of ground. Now he's back in it again. So no net loss, at least the first lap after the restart for Junior, even though he didn't take off well again. And his teammate, Martin Truex Jr., right behind him in 6th place. Carl Edwards has taken the lead away from Kyle Busch. Now Junior going all the way down the track to block his teammate Truex into turns 3 and 4. There's also contact up there. John Hamilton putting the pressure on Boyer as he's up to P2. Truex went wide in the middle of the corner, kept it off the wall, but Kenseth's got to run behind him. Junior was 1.3 seconds off the lead with the caution. Even with the bad restart, he's still 8 to 9 tenths of a second off the lead, so it wasn't that game. Didn't lose any positions. We're still going to catch Stewart a few more times yet. Tony Stewart costed Boyer some valuable points and potentially bonus points depending on how many laps Boyer's led versus the 81 of Earnhardt today. Davey Chumbler, welcome to the stream. No, this is not a doubleheader. This is it. Dark Crypto, thanks for tuning into the stream as well. Had a little battle following this late race caution, debris off the 107 car. Junior grazes the wall a bit. Slow his straightaway speed down a little bit that time. Pushing just a bit too hard. Needs to let the car come to him. This is going to be a crazy finish. Things are about to get wild. I mean, they've been wild this entire race. There's been no slow point at all. Edwards may have kept it off the wall on the high side, but he's going to lose the lead to John Hamilton, who will get 5 bonus points, leading finally his first lap of the day. Kyle Busch to second. Great run through 1 and 2 by Dale Jr. Crossover by Edwards on Busch for P2. Boyer looking to go to the inside as a 16-5 side drafting each other in front. Got 3 Cup regulars inside the top 5. Busch, Edwards, Earnhardt. 2 Busch regulars of John Hamilton, Clint Boyer. Boyer going to get back around Busch. Dale Jr. follows the 2 car. Has a massive run on Boyer. Boyer with a block trying to hold the bottom into 1 and 2. Jr. gets a little loose on the inside. He clipped the apron just a tad. Kept it off of Kyle Busch. And is going to have to file back in line behind. A defensive line by everybody on the back straightaway. Coming to 30 laps to go. This time by Busch overdrives turns 3 and 4. Dale Jr. to the inside of the 5 of Kyle Busch. Slides up the track. He pitches him. He knocks him into the wall. There was contact. Meanwhile, the 60 and the 2 run side by side. Dale Jr. on the inside of Clint Boyer. He'll slide up the track again. No contact there. He's going to pass Boyer cleanly for 3rd. John Hamilton wants to keep seeing these guys battle behind him and may allow him to pull away. Boyer kept it off the wall. He was getting tight. He'll be catching Stewart in another lap or 2. Just don't want to lose major ground when you catch him. Cost you the race at this point. That could have been the final restart. Edwards going way down low to block Dale Jr. Jr. to the inside of Edwards. Through 3 and 4. Edwards going down the track, trying to side draft the 81. Doesn't matter. Jr.'s going to be clear at the line. Back to 2nd. Crew hasn't made major mistakes, but they haven't been on their best game at the same time with quick stops that have put Jr. back a little bit, although Jr. has stayed out a little bit longer than everybody else. And during the caution flag pit stop, they did gain 1 spot. So I don't think they've really done that bad of a job, all things considered. With that being said, Hamilton checks up off turn 4 with Tony Stewart just up ahead. Dale Jr. to the lead. He's going to get by Stewart. He's going to have to go high. He gets into Stewart, who gets into the wall. Somehow Jr. holds on to the lead. I have no clue how he did that. Tony Stewart was on the bottom, so Jr. went high. Stewart went high right in front of him, and Jr. ran into the back of him as he was going about 20 miles per hour faster than him. When Stewart made that late move, knocked both cars sideways. Stewart got up into the wall. That bottlenecks everybody back up, and now the top 6 or 7 are all under a blanket instead of just the top 4. Edwards going wide. He's in the wall. Jr. went wide. He loses the lead. He's up in the marbles. 3 wide off turn 2. John Hamilton almost got Bowyer in the wall again after Bowyer was in the wall in the middle of the corner. Kyle Busch took the dive bomb to go to the inside underneath both of them, and he's up to third. After being in fifth just a couple laps ago, but he's caught back up quickly with Tony Stewart stacking up the leaders. That was a slow last lap by Dale Jr., 31-4. Bowyer back out in front again. Busch is in the wall in 1 and 2. Edwards checks up behind him. Hamilton to P3. Junior overdrives turns 3 and 4. Stays in front of John Hamilton with a big block. Clint Bowyer's pulling away right now. Dale Jr. struggling with this race car. He has gotten really tight, almost like it was at the very start of the race. He's made contact a couple times with a couple drivers since the restart. I don't know if that's causing it. Both the contacts are on the right side, so that may be the case. I don't think he's hit the wall at all since the restart. Not like Edwards did there, and caution is out. Trouble behind Carl Edwards. Edwards got the wall. I don't know if that stacked him up behind or what happened there. Yeah, it did. Well, I don't know. It was hard to tell. Kyle Busch goes for a spin after contact with John Hamilton. Edwards got the wall right in front of both of those two. I think Hamilton got the wall also, and Busch into Hamilton simultaneously. He goes for a spin. He rides the wall in the front stretch, and we have our 5th caution of the race. And this is going to set up a restart with about 20 laps to go. Dale Jr. needs to get around Bowyer ASAP. Jr. hasn't taken off well in the restarts. Bowyer lost 3 spots on the last restart, but then got back to the lead just for another caution to come back out immediately after. Green flag back in the air. 20 to go at Kansas. Is this the final restart? Stewart's going to get another great launch. He's going to move up in front of Bowyer. Dale Jr. hasn't taken off well in the restarts. Can't get through the gears quick enough. And Bowyer's going to get around Tony Stewart. Kenseth's going to fall in line behind Stewart. Trying to get to the inside. Dale Jr. looking. Kenseth's up to second. Great restart by the 17. Stewart's 3 wide, up high. Busch is back up to 4th after wrecking. He gained about 3 spots on the restart himself. Clint Bowyer leads. Kenseth hasn't led all day. This is interesting, but we've seen the Roush Fenway Fords be really good on the long runs. The grip in this 81 car, it just went away. We're about halfway through the fuel and tire stint, which doesn't help, but Junior's feeling a little better since the restart for whatever reasons. Kenseth's got a massive run. If anybody's going to beat Bowyer, it's probably going to be a Roush car at this point. Junior will take it, being behind Bowyer in points, but Kenseth goes a bit too wide. Junior trying to stick the bottom. He's going to get to the inside of the 17 car. Can't clear him, though. Bowyer with the defensive line on the backstretch, even though Junior's still battling Kenseth into turns 3 and 4. And Junior's back to second place again as they come to 17 laps to go this time. They're probably going to catch Stewart just one more time in this race with the way that caution came out. Bowyer way up high, left the bottom open. Junior got his car to turn just a bit better. Still push it a bit wide as he is trying to get back to the gas as soon as he can in the middle of the corner. Have to push hard at this point. No holding back. You saved your equipment for this moment, where it all comes down to this. And again, it's the top 2 in points battling for the win. Junior going to try to widen his arc off through 1 and 2. Looks to the inside of Clint Bowyer. Side by side for the race lead. Matt Kenseth with a run down low. Junior's going to block him. Bowyer's going down to pinch the 81. A little side drafting going on between the 81 and the 2. Junior on the white line. Bowyer up high. Sliding wide. Bowyer's in the wall. Kenseth checks up to keep it off the 2. Junior to the lead. Bowyer didn't want to lift. It costed him. He hit the wall. Pushed it too hard on the outside, where we've seen a lot of drivers get in the wall today because they can't hold the outside, especially off turn 4. Patrick Chatterley, I see you in the chat for the first time today. Thanks for tuning in. Bowyer's in the wall again in 1 and 2. He's going to lose a couple more spots to Kenseth and Busch. Big run by Mark Martin, I believe, back in 5th. May get to the inside of Boyer as well. That wasn't even dirty air that time. I think Boyer was just pushing too hard again. And now Kenseth's in the wall off turn 4. Everybody's mowing the wall down. 14 to go. I'm doing great, Davey. Hopefully you are too. I'm under a lot of pressure right now, to be completely honest. This is very intense. Can't get much more intense than this. This late in the season. This big of a points deficit where Junior has to be perfect from now to the end of the season, especially in the finish of this race. Kenseth in the wall. About to slam back into Martin, who's all of a sudden up to 2nd. The Roush cars are going to be the hardest to hold back, but even Boyers look fast late as well. Martin with a heck of a run into 1 and 2. He gets to the inside of Dale Jr. And Mark Martin to the lead. For just the 2nd time today. Junior trying to get to the bottom. Just got in front of the 2 of Boyer. That was a close call. Big block, but he was committed to trying to fit back in line and not get stuck on the outside, especially on older tires. Boyer on the top now. Kyle Busch gets underneath him. And it's Mark Martin and Dale Jr. going for the lead. Junior all the way to the apron on the back straightaway. How low can you go? Limboing his way down to the inside of Martin through 3 and 4. 11 to go this time by at Kansas. Martin almost in the wall. Junior trying to side draft the left turn corner panel of Mark Martin. Martin going to try to squeeze the 81. I know Martin to race clean. Don't expect him to do anything out of the ordinary here. Kyle Busch is going to go wide. He's in the wall through 1 and 2. Boyer back to 3rd again. Boyer and Earnhardt battling for a championship, looking for the win, and all the points they can possibly get. I think Stewart pitted moments ago. He is just working his way off pit road right now, so that's why they haven't caught him yet. They'll be coming to 10 to go. Stewart's coming out of the pits down at the bottom of the racetrack. Will he be up to speed? No, he will not. The field's going to get by, and they may not catch Tony Stewart the rest of this race. Stewart's trying to get up to speed down on the bottom of the track. Martin's going to have to try to pass him on the outside. Tony Stewart right in front of the 81. Now he gets out of the way. It did cost Junior just a hiccup of time. 9 laps to go at the line. If we do get another caution, Stewart would have to line up behind the tail end of the field. But I don't think they're going to catch Stewart. Martin got around him at the perfect time. Dale Jr. unfortunately did not. That really stacked everybody up from 6th on back, because it's just a 5-car race now. For the win, at least. A race where we haven't really seen hardly any DNFs. Kyle Busch to the inside of Boyer off turn 4. 8 laps to go. Mark Martin trying to get his first Busch Series win of the season. First win in either the Busch or the Cup Series this season. Left a lot of bottom open through 1 and 2 for Dale Jr. to close the gap. He's going to get a better run on the straightaways when he runs a bit wider, though. That's the only thing. Junior's had good straightaway speed today, but it's going to be hard to keep up with him. We also know that the Roush cars have had a lot better long-run speed, so that's going to play in Martin's favor also. It's part of their success in this race so far today. Oh, a little contact there. Slowed both cars down just a bit. And Junior overdrives 1 and 2, trying to stay underneath the 9. Martin didn't give him a lot of room, pinched him off. We'll be coming to 6 to go. Kyle Busch in 3rd. Kenseth, another Roush car, back there in 4th. Boyer's fallen to 5th. Remember, Boyer was outside the top 10 at one point today. He is... I mean, that 2 team has really worked on their car because they did not look very competitive at the very beginning of the day. But this entire second half of the race, through these last 2 pit stops, he's had great momentum. Mark Martin just missed the corner completely. Junior took his shot to the inside. He's not going to clear him, but he does pull alongside. And they'll be going into turns 3 and 4, coming to 5 to go. This time by Dale Jr. leads. At least has the advantage on the bottom. Car on the outside's not been great. Mark Martin in the wall off turn 4. Still keeps decent momentum up. Martin leads that lap at the line. Kyle Busch is right behind the 81. I don't know how Junior didn't get by Martin after Martin went in the wall. Mark Martin is doing about as good of a job as anybody has today on the outside. Junior has to protect the bottom, not slide up and try to side draft Martin because Kyle Busch may go 3 wide and try to get to the lead. Junior gets arrow loose going into 3 and 4 with Busch right on his back bumper. This is nuts. 4 to go at the line. Contact up high. Junior trying to hold on to it. Kyle Busch, Clint Boyer both down low under the Roush cars of Mark Martin and Matt Kenseth. Coming to 3 laps to go this time by Junior. Has to keep the bottom, but Kyle Busch is already there. Door to door in the corner, very tight. No contact. Junior trying to hold the outside. There's contact off turn 4. Junior's going to save it down into the grass. He's going to try to get back on the track. I believe Mark Martin is back in the lead. Martin leads. Busch is still in the wall. And Mark Martin is running away with it. I didn't think they could make it all the way through the corner like that. No caution. We stay green. Junior's car is all over the place. He's probably got grass on his tires still. Still has to beat the 2. The 60 of Edwards just got the wall. 2 to go for Mark Martin. That just jacked everybody up. Busch was mowing the wall down on the front stretch, but he stayed in second. Dale Jr. trying to get to Clint Boyer in the 2. At all costs wants to beat the 2 car and not lose points to Boyer today. Edwards up the track. He's in the wall hard. They're 3 wide behind. White flag. No cautions on the final lap. Boyer trying to get around Matt Kenseth in the 17. He's not going to get around him that time. He went too far wide. Junior can't keep up. His tires are shot after nearly spinning. And Mark Martin's going to win at Kansas. Boyer. Oh, contact again, Junior. Oh, Edwards in the wall hard. He's coming back down in front of traffic. Oh, Junior gets turned by another car off turn 4. He's in the grass. He's trying to get back to the checkered flag. 9th place. Oh, my goodness. I don't know who just turned Earnhardt. I think it was Morgan Irvin in the 135 car. And that's going to end the race. Junior lost 4 spots off the final corner after nearly getting turned. He was pinching the 60 down, which led to that contact, similar to what happened between him and Busch. But then, I don't know who turned him off of turn 4 well after the fact. I think it was the 135. It was a fantasy driver. Definitely wasn't John Hamilton. There was no other fantasy driver in the top 10 other than those 2. 2 saves in the grass in the final, what, 4 laps for Earnhardt? At least got a top 10. I mean, keeping his championship hopes alive yet another race. And Boyer finishes 4th. He couldn't quite get around Kenseth on the final lap. Mark Martin wins his first Busch race of the season, becomes the 12th different Busch Series winner this year. Crazy race today at Kansas. 5 cautions. Boyer led 42 laps. Dale Jr. led 35. Truex led 57, so I do think Truex led the most, which was at the start of the race. He was really not factor after he lost the lead. He led the first 57 laps, but it was enough for the most laps led, so at least Boyer didn't lead the most laps, which would have hurt even worse for Dale Jr. Martin led just 11, all at the end. Kyle Busch finishes in 2nd. Matt Kenseth 3rd, Clint Boyer 4th, and Marvin Irvin rounds out the top 5. John Hamilton finishes in 6th, Bobby Labonte 7th, J.J. Yaley 8th, Dale Jr. 9th, and Martin Truex Jr. rounds out the top 10. Another good finish for Dale Jr., keeping his hot streak alive late in the Busch Series season. They don't respect the championship battle, Noah. I put Edwards in that predicament. I think he might have clipped the apron before getting into me, and I put Kyle Busch in that tough spot too. I was just trying to pinch him for all I could because that was probably my last chance to hold on. It was definitely not Busch or Edwards' fault. The 135, I will blame him for turning me in the middle of the front stretch coming to the checker. That costed me 4 positions, and that was pretty much all for nothing. I mean, what was that for? I did what I had to do to finish 5th. Like, what the heck, man? That guy I will definitely blame for losing a few spots at the end. That was costly. I mean, that cost me 20 points there off of turn 4 on the final lap. Yeah, Boyer's probably going to have to DNF. I mean, even if I win, he keeps finishing in the top 5. Like, there's no way we're going to catch him unless he just has at least 2 bad finishes outside the top 10 and I win. Those races get max points days, or he's going to have to just flat out DNF. And then, I mean, he could DNF at Lowe's Motor Speedway tomorrow night, and he'll still be the points leader. That's how big of a points lead he's got. But it at least would put me within 50 points going into the final 4 races and give me a better shot if I beat him heads up. If he DNFs once and I just beat him head up the final 4 races, I mean, I'll win the championship, but it's still going to take a lot, even with the DNF, to just beat that 2 car. They've been so fast, especially on the 1.5 miles. That's where he's won most of his races. Obviously, he was quick tonight. Led more laps than we did. Gotta cause him to DNF. I don't want to. I don't want it to come down to that. Because, see, the thing is, if I wreck him, because I pride myself on running clean, if I just go out there and dump him, and he DNFs, I'm still going to have to go to the tail end of the field. So it's like, the only time I can really do it is on the final lap. But then I'm risking my finishing position if I get wrecked like what happened in Talladega too. I can risk myself, flipping or whatever. Like what happened with me and Gordon at Talladega. So it's just so risky for me to even try to wreck somebody. How unstable these cars are in the game. John Hamilton finished 6th, Bobby Labonte 7th, J.J. Yaley in 8th, Dale Jr. 35 laps led 9th, and Martin Truex Jr. rounds out the top 10 today. Kenny Walls fell back to 14th. And pretty much everybody that finished outside of Tony Stewart finished on the lead lap, 38th. Tony Stewart, he was definitely a factor late in the race despite not really having a good finish. 39th, 4 drivers DNF. Michael Jordan Jr., whoever Lyons is, whoever Flanagan is also DNF'd, and then Smith DNF'd, and he was in the top 10 in points. Tough break for Smith. 1.7 seconds margin of victory, 2 minutes, 7 seconds total time on today's race. Average race speed of 140.86 miles an hour. 32 lead changes, more than the Cup race yesterday. And again, 5 cautions for 15 caution laps. Time to look at the point standings. Waiting for the day. Waiting for the day. Clint Boyer DNFs. I think he's only DNF'd twice all season. I mean, he's kicking everybody's butt. It's not like it's just me. I mean, he's got a full race worth of points over me, and he's got like 2 races over 3rd. I'm literally whooping everybody but Boyer, who's whooping me. I don't know what that last fantasy track is still, but the final 5 races, we've got Charlotte. We have a fantasy track, which I won't know what it is until after we race Charlotte tomorrow night. But then the last 3 races, Texas, Phoenix, Homestead. I don't think it's Atlanta. I think it is a fantasy track. I don't think Busch Series races at Atlanta twice during this season. Oh, yeah, Dale Jr. Jeez. Dale Jr. lost 22 points today to Clint Boyer. Boyer finishing in 4th, Dale Jr. 9th. They both led laps for 5 bonus points. It was looking good there for a little bit. Boyer was outside the top 10, but that was when I was struggling too. We were both outside the top 10, and we both got our cars running really good there towards the end. And yeah, my car just went away. I made contact one too many times with other drivers. That second to last restart, that caused me to really be tight those last 20 laps out of nowhere, despite the adjustment change on the pit stop before that to try and free it up. It was tighter than what it was that run before that last yellow, that's for certain. Last couple yellows. Truex up to 4th in points with another top 10 today. I'd like to get us a 1-2 finish. I don't think he's catching Boyer. I think it's just between... The only driver who's got a shot at the championship other than Boyer is Dale Jr. I mean, it's plain and simple. With just 5 races to go, Boyer would have to DNF twice, and I'd have to DNF once just for anybody else to have a shot. I just don't see Boyer DNFing 2 times in these final 5 races. You never know. He's only DNF'd twice all season, though. That's the thing. 181 points between Boyer and Earnhardt. Dale Jr. is going to keep digging. Daytona this weekend, that's exciting. Yes, it is. I'll be doing live commentary Friday night for the Xfinity race. Cup Series only if it gets moved to Sunday. It's scheduled for Saturday, but it's going to have to rain out for me to be able to do that. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I will see you guys tomorrow night. Same start time as tonight. Another Busch Series race. We'll be going at the Lowe's Motor Speedway, a.k.a. Charlotte, as we know of today, for our next Busch race. 5 races to go. Trying to get Dale Jr. his 3rd title. And then chasing Boyer almost all season. I don't think I've even led in points in the Busch Series the whole year. Still, though, to be second in points, even though I'm 181 back, to be second in points after being 459 points out of first at my lowest in the standings, that's a heck of a comeback. We were like, what, 13th in points probably 20 races ago, 459 back. It's amazing what it has taken consistency for us to get to where we're at in the season. 9th, 1st, 13th, 1st, 7th, 1st, 5th, 1st, 7th, 1st in the last 12 races. 1 finish outside the top 10 in the last 12 races. Every finish in the top 10, 7th or better. But we finished 5th or better in 6 of those last, or 7 of the last 12 races. And we won 5 of them. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. We're on an absolute hot streak. We've only finished outside the top 10 3 times since the 12th race of the year at Richmond. In 18 races, I've finished in the top 10 15 times in the last 18 races. 7th or better, in fact. 7th or better in 15 of the last 18 races just to try and get to this point. It was probably after Darlington where I was 459 back. And then I won Richmond and the first time. Just been a slow climb ever since. We've been sitting second in points for like 3 or 4 races now, though. It's just... And we're pulling away from everybody else also. Mark Martin won. Yep. Congrats to him for getting his first Busch win of the season. Nice to see a Mark Martin win, though. He deserved it. I mean, the fact that he mowed the wall down when I was trying to pass him for the lead initially and still stayed on my outside for like 2 laps after doing that. He ran the outside better than anybody else today. I mean, that alone should get you the win when everybody was hitting the wall off turn 4 on the outside. Myself included. That's enough rambling. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Thanks for watching, everybody, and catch you next time.